Okay, here we go. And we are back. This time with a 2-for-1 unsolved mystery banger video. I am going to show you guys how to solve two of the most famous unsolved homicides in the history of the United States. The JonBenet Ramsey case, and another case which is even more famous because of who was involved, the OJ Simpson case. Okay. For some of you who don't know, I'm an internet sleuth. I've been around a very long time, since about 2001. I go by the name of Under the Radar. That's spelled UNDRTHERADAR. Okay? To many of you involved in the JonBenet Ramsey case, especially the old timers, you know exactly who I am. I have a theory that's been around a long time in the JonBenet Ramsey case. It's online. You can search it. I believe John Ramsey's banker friend committed this crime. He would have known everything about the $118,000. He was involved in the money trail. He was the person John Ramsey had to call to arrange the ransom money. This puts him in the money trail. Okay, if you're a detective, he's the first person you have to investigate. Follow the money. It's no secret. It's out there. In fact, his banker friend sued me for defamation back in 2006 because of the things I was saying in an internet forum. Okay? He dropped that lawsuit after just 30 days. I believe he only filed that lawsuit to scare and intimidate me and to silence me from what I was saying about him. And I'm still around saying it today. And I have the videos to back up everything I say. And I'm the only internet poster who has ever been sued for his theory. Okay? Just go to anytopics.net, any internet Wikipedia, and you will see that involves the JonBenet Ramsey case, and you will see Under the Radar lawsuit there. It's the lawsuit no one wants to ever talk about. It's the lawsuit, the only lawsuit that has been swept under the rug. It's the lawsuit that answers all questions to this case. Okay? One day I'll make a video about that lawsuit, and we'll go over it, and we'll see the lies that Lynn Wood and the banker friend of John Ramsey said in that lawsuit when they filed it against me and dropped it after 30 days. So basically, my theory stood up to a fat cat wealthy person with a lot of money and a powerful lawyer in Lynn Wood, because they both backed down from my theory after just 30 days. They wanted no parts of it. Okay? I'm the only poster whose theory does not tell you what I believe or give you my opinion. Okay? Because nobody cares about what I believe or what I think. Okay? I like to just give the facts and let the facts speak for themselves. You know, I like to play chess with the facts and get you in a checkmate where there's no way out. Okay? I'm always open to questions, suggestions, or any comments you may have. I will answer all questions you may have. Anything that you are confused by, I will show you the answer with facts, not my opinions. I'll never ask you to like my video or subscribe, because I only do these videos as a public service to give the public what I know. Okay? I only ask that you take this information and spread it like wildfire. Okay? That's all I ask. I just want to give this information out. And when you want to give something, you shouldn't have to ask for a thing. But that's all I ask for. This information you hear, just spread it. Spread the word. I really appreciate that. So we have the JonBenet Ramsey case and the OJ Simpson case. Okay, why am I making a video about these two cases of all cases? They have nothing to do with each other, do they? Well, in a way they kind of do. Because I believe I can show to you and prove to you in both cases who the perpetrator is. Now, everybody already knows probably who the perpetrator is in the OJ case. I mean, most people do, but technically it's still an unsolved case. Okay? And lately there's been a lot of news about people claiming proof that OJ didn't do it, that he was framed. And that word frame is key in both cases. Believe it or not, that is something else both cases have in common. The word frame up, or framed, or set up. Okay? I've already showed you in multiple videos in the JonBenet Ramsey case. Go check them out. I'll go over it briefly here again. I've showed you proof, facts, not my opinion, that there was a frame up of the Ramsey family, Ramsey pen, Ramsey paper, to write a ransom note when there's not even a kidnapping. The paper and the pen's not destroyed or hidden. It's just put back in its proper place. Then, after using the pen and paper to write a ransom note, they used the Ramsey paintbrush to make a garrote, which is proof of a frame-up, because a child can be taken out by hand. A child can be taken out just with the rope alone. There's no need to add the Ramsey paintbrush. It's added unnecessarily to this crime, especially after already adding the Ramsey pen, the Ramsey paper, and now you have the Ramsey paintbrush being used unnecessarily. And most of all, it's just left hanging on her neck instead of just thrown out after the deed was done. Why is it just hanging there? The deed is done. It did its job. Take it off, throw it out, hide it. No, it's left hanging there to implicate the Ramseys in this crime. Proof of a frame-up. There is no other answer. Checkmate. That's checkmate right there. You cannot provide another answer as to why that paintbrush was not taken off that neck after strangulation was done. It's just left hanging there to implicate the Ramseys. Period. Frame up. John Ramsey actually found her. He could have taken it off, but he didn't. He left it there. Somebody wanted the Ramseys arrested. Fact of the matter is, before 911 is called, everything is done to make the Ramseys look guilty. Before 911 is called. Everything, even the small foreign faction, was written with the Ramsey's pen and paper. You're going to think a Ramsey did it. The Ramseys were framed by a very clever perp who framed them, then tried to hide JonBenet in the home. She was never to be taken out of the home. She was to be hidden long enough for the Ramseys to follow the ransom note. Give the perp, the Ramseys were not supposed to call the cops. They were not supposed to call friends. They were going to give that perp $118,000 then JonBenet would be found hidden in their home with their paintbrush hanging from her neck and the ransom note written with their pen, their paper. They are framed. No one will ever believe them. But if the perp does not get $118,000, if they call the cops like they did in this case, oh well. The frame up is still in place. Ramsey pen, Ramsey paper, body in the home, paintbrush hanging from her neck, pineapple in her stomach. But the pineapple rind is missing. The pineapple can is missing. No one knows where that pineapple came from. What kept that pineapple fresh? The pineapple is also part of this frame up because it's her last meal and the pineapple's just sitting on the table. Nothing's hidden. Nothing's thrown away. Nothing is covered up, as they keep calling it. This is a frame up in the JonBenet Ramsey case. Why the Ramseys have never claimed frame up, I'll never know. Because they woke up one morning and a perpetrator used their pen, their paper, and their paintbrush and left it around their daughter's neck. And they never are going to claim a frame up. If this was OJ Simpson, he'd be on the top of a mountain screaming frame up. Okay? Why the Ramseys will not claim frame up and hold the Boulder cops accountable for falling for this frame up with their inexperienced homicide detectives, I'll never know. These Boulder cops sent narcotics agents and auto theft cops to investigate the Ramseys' daughter's homicide. How disrespectful is that? And they ultimately fell for a frame up. Okay? The cops have since corrected their mistake. They now know that they fell for that frame up, and they now have been looking for an intruder ever since. That's just factual. So, that is my proof in about 10 minutes that the Ramseys were framed by a very clever perp. And I told you his plan. And I just explained this to you in 10 minutes, what these people cannot explain to you in over 25 or 30 years. With facts, letting facts speak for themselves. Facts that you can see, you can hold, you can feel. Now, time to move on to the OJ Simpson case. You see, the JonBenet case is not the only case that I believe I can show you with facts and have solved. I'm going to show you the OJ Simpson case, which is even more simple to solve, and show you that it's impossible to frame OJ Simpson. Impossible. It's not possible for those cops to frame OJ Simpson, and I will show you this with proof very easily, okay, that even though he claims a frame up in this case, there is no frame up, and it is impossible for there to be a frame up in this case for OJ Simpson. He's guilty, and there's no other way around it. And it's unfortunate that these prosecutors and Mark Furman and Van Adder and Tom Lang did not present this case this way that I'm about to present it to you. Because again, it's checkmate for OJ Simpson. It's checkmate. So, OJ Simpson claims that those two gloves that you see there on the screen, at the top of your screen in the center, one found at the crime scene of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, and the other found at the home of OJ Simpson behind his house, where Kato Kalin said he heard a noise that night. And that glove was found where Kato Kalin heard that noise and actually went to investigate that noise. He was that convinced that somebody was back there, and which ultimately that glove was found back there. And OJ Simpson claims that Mark Furman planted it there. And I'm going to show you it's impossible for Mark Furman to plant it there. And if anybody can get in contact with Mark Furman or Kato Kalin or Tom Lang or any of these guys, Marsha Clark, show them this information so they can present it very simple and very easily, like I'm about to present it to you. But it's impossible to frame OJ Simpson. He's guilty. Okay, now we have those gloves. The homicide detectives showed up at Nicole Simpson's home. They find the bodies. They find the glove. They see there is a blood trail leading from the bodies out towards the back gate, and it appears that the perpetrator is injured and bleeding from the left-hand side, because that's the side the blood is dripping from. So the detectives know this. They have this information. Now, with that being said, the perpetrator's injured. They see that. They're at the crime scene. Do you realize that the only people on the planet Earth that these detectives can frame at this moment with this information are people that are bleeding and injured on the left-hand side? That's it. You can't frame somebody who's not injured. You're not injured. How are you going to frame them? You can only frame somebody who's injured and bleeding on the left-hand side. I can hear people now, well, OJ was injured and bleeding on the left-hand side. See, it's possible. He framed him. No. Big problem. They never saw OJ. They never saw OJ Simpson. He was in Chicago. They don't know if he's injured or bleeding or not. They never seen him. It's impossible for them to now say, let's take this glove over OJ's, plant it at his home, and frame him. We know he's bleeding from the left-hand side. It's impossible, because if he comes home from Chicago and he's not bleeding, then they're screwed. He's not injured. How did the glove get at his home? Lo and behold, OJ comes home bleeding and cut on his left-hand side. Checkmate, OJ. I mean, that's not a coincidence, no matter how you say you cut it. All the other evidence combined with that information right there, the cops cannot frame someone if they never saw him and don't know if they're bleeding or not, and they never saw OJ. I don't know why they never said this at trial. They just blew it. I mean, that's just plain and simple. 2 crimes solved in a matter of about 20 minutes. If you got any other ones you want me to take a look at, reach out in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, take care.